Wow. Just wow. You really want to watch this video to the end because during Trump's speech, he said some things that caught me off guard. Unbelievable. And we got a section at the back. If you guys want to just skip to that too, that's Glen Beck. Glen Beck is going to explain what the deep state is and who's a part of the deep state. And not this doesn't change nothing. It basically just lets Trump know that who the good guys are, and that's all it is. It's waking up to America. I told you guys this. Pay attention to what Donald Trump says, and we're going to stop it a couple different times, but he just put the deep state on notice. Unbelievable.
Wow, that's a lot of people. That's a new record. We set a record every time. Well, thank you very much for being here. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security. And also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities, as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they're very easily swayed.
You got to remember, and I think this is pretty crazy, the Democrats stick together. I mean, they stick together. It's just crazy to me. But in the Republicans, there's so many different rhinos. In my state, I believe John James is.
I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the Peace Board, he said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth, all of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more.
You hear what Mr. Trump, our president, is saying. Nothing's changed. They're just doing it a different direction, different way. Because the deep state is so corrupted, it's corrupted our freaking Supreme Court justices. Anyway, to be honest, some of us already knew this. We already knew this is corruption at its finest. He's bringing dark to light. Again, I'm telling you this again and again. In order to get dark to light, he had to bring certain people on board for people like us to do the research. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You just have to be paying attention.
More money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little 2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that. It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives that have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries. But a much more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that? Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago under an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%. But now I'll go the way I could have gone originally, which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so up, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. That's because numerous other federal statutes, which is so true, authorize the president to impose tariffs and might justify most, if not all, of the tariffs issued in this case. Even more tariffs, actually. Those statutes include, think of that, those statutes include, for example, the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, Section 232. All of these things I know so well. The Trade Act of 1974, Sections 122, 201, 301. And the Tariff Act of 1930, Section 338, all clear. But it's a little bit longer process. I thought I'd make things simple, but they didn't let us do that. I would like to thank Justice Kavanaugh for frankly, his genius and his great ability. Very proud of.
Yeah, that's really nice of him to write that down.
That appointment. In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible. And to think that the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way, they'd like to pack the court. They want to put on 21 people. They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe they would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country.
That's true.
There will no longer be any doubt, and the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision. I don't think the court meant that, but it's the way it is. Based on long-standing law and hundreds of victories, and even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years. To the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA, anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways.
That's right.
The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off. You took a look at the...
You know why that is? It's because they were all on the same team. They were all trying to destroy our countries. Our country.
Deficits that we had with some of these countries, it was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades.
That's right.
But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place.
And we're sure this is shocking for many of you that just hear the news and tune.
And in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies.
Yes. FAFO. You F around, you're going to find out. And guess what, Deep State? You found out, and you're going to find out. You don't think Trump knows what the hell he's doing? You are freaking out of your mind. It's basically just a chess move, another chess move. They're going back and forth. But little does the Deep State know, they're already in checkmate.
Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And right. Interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions, you can let us know.
I'm going to do that right there. The questions are crazy. If you want to listen to the questions, then go for it. I'm going to go through this one right here. And basically, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent said this: President Trump will always put America's national security and Americans first. And as I have said before, the president has multiple tools in his toolbox. Exactly. Let's be clear. The court did not rule against the administration's tariffs. It only said IEEPA can't be used to raise revenue. It says, let's be clear. The court did not rule against the administration's tariffs. It only said IEEPA can't be used to raise revenue. We will immediately shift to other proven authorities, Section 232, 301, and 122, to keep our tariff strategies strong. And one other thing I want to point out, what Donald Trump said is one of these in one of those questions. You might want to go listen to the question that the crowd was asking Donald Trump, our president, is something to the effect that, do you have evidence that proves these justices that voted against you are corrupt by another entity. And he says, you will find out soon enough. You will find out soon enough. And I can't quote that exactly, but it went sort of like that. Here's Scott Bessent. Here's a short clip.
Also like to take a moment to address today's Supreme Court ruling, and I would note that I did not change a single word in my speech post the ruling. President Trump will always put our national security and Americans first. And as I have said before, the president has multiple tools in his toolbox. Let's be clear about what today's ruling was and what it wasn't. Despite the misplaced gloating from Democrats, ill-informed media outlets, and the very people who gutted our industrial base, the court did not rule against President Trump's tariffs. 6 justices simply ruled that IEEPA authorities cannot be used to raise even $1 of revenue. This administration will invoke alternative legal authorities to replace the IEEPA tariffs. We will be leveraging Section 232 and Section 301 tariff authorities that have been validated through thousands of legal challenges. Treasury's estimates show that the use of Section 122 authority, combined with potentially enhanced Section 232 and Section 301 tariffs, will result in virtually unchanged tariff revenue in 2026.
That's exactly right. Nothing's going to change. And the ones that he has to change around because of the IEEPA, he's just going to put it in a different bracket with a different tariff. These guys are brilliant. These guys are smart. These guys are amazing. Uh-oh. What happened here? Well, I had something here, but... And okay, so we're back here with Glen Beck. He's going to tell you exactly what the deep state's all about and who is part of it. It's crazy.
So we've just defined the deep state machine, but now let's put faces and dollars to it. Let's go to chalkboard number 2. Chalkboard number 2 is the web of influence. This is where the ODNI report and the Durham Annex really shines a light on all of the operatives. And let's start here with the kingpins, okay? John Brennan, Obama's CIA director, he led the manipulated ICA, the intelligence community assessment on Russia. Tulsi Gabbard's ODNI release puts him right square at the top. Then you have James Clapper. He was the DNI. He signed off on that intelligence report, but he also was part of the 51 intelligence officials that lied about the Hunter Biden laptop from hell. That shows that even though some of these people are no longer in office, they still manipulate behind the scenes. John Brennan can still, when he was here originally, he could go right down to the media. But now he's out. But he can still be seen on cable news, pushing along a narrative. James Comey, FBI director, he oversaw Crossfire Hurricane. He also, according to the Durham Annex, closed down an investigation into Hillary Clinton's email server due to the explosive nature of the sensitive intelligence that revealed Hillary's plan was to smear Trump. And Hillary Clinton, well, her campaign funded the Steele dossier per Durham. The annex specifically details her plan to tie Trump to Russia and how her campaign was allegedly allied within people in the Obama administration. That indeed, the Attorney General Loretta Lynch was part of that. And then there was George Soros. George Soros, by the way, his birthday was yesterday. He's 95, still kicking, but he's able to see his whole life unravel and his empire begin to crumble. But he is the founder of the Open Society Foundation. The annex names his organization in the confidential DNC talks for the smear on Donald Trump. As of 2023, George Soros was one of the Center for American Progress's Action Fund, one of the largest single donors. CAP Action. It was one of the most influential private organizations pushing the Russian collusion narrative. Remember, we get the plan, It comes down to places like Open Society, and then it's pushed down even more. You get the intel officers, you get the surveillance, you get the media. Now, one of their initiatives at the time was the Moscow Project. It's amazing that the internet is still forever, right? I mean, it's still online. And if you read it, it's actually pretty hilarious because, well, other operatives include Peter Strzok, Lisa Page at the FBI, Jake Sullivan, Biden's national security advisor, Hillary Clinton's aide tied to the hoax planning. And Sullivan's name began to first pop up around Russiagate, the hoax back in 2021. And I will tell you, I mean, get the feeling that there's a reason he constantly floats from one administration to the next, but we'll have to look more into that. Then you have Christopher Steele, the MI6 alum who authored the Steele dossier. Mark Milley, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I'm sorry, but if you have a headline like this one, secretly calling China over fears Trump could spark war. I mean, you're going to get added to the deep state candidate list every time. I think it's an automatic. Then you have Andrew McCabe. Andrew McCabe was the director of the, or deputy director of the FBI. This one is obvious for being the dude that signed the bogus FISA warrants against Trump's staff. Remember, they doctored them. They changed them. Took a little white out, then retyped them and changed them.
That's right.
He signed them. Then they went to get the FISA warrant. And then there's this little nugget. The text from Peter Strzok to Lisa Page, quote, I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in Andy's office, that there's no way he gets elected. But I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40.
Do you guys remember all this? It all adds up. And we were wondering why there wasn't arrest back in 2020 or 2016 or whatever it was. We thought arrests were coming. But the biggest problem is you had to get the evidence. The evidence. We have the evidence. Donald Trump says we have it all. Let's just put an end to this. Go watch Glen Beck. You can watch the rest of that. But I want you guys to understand that it's a war going on right now. And we need to pay attention for our kids' kids, and all that. But I do want to wrap this up by saying thank you to my my awesome family here. I'm trying to make things a little bit better and better each day, each video. I just want to save our country, and I hope you do. And you know, the people outside this country, I want your country to be great as well. And so I think everybody that's watching this realizes we have a faction of this country that is trying to rob us of greatness. And if you can't go with make America great again, and I think America is great, but if you can't go with make America great again, then move out of this country. That's all I say. So I wrap it up here. Go watch Glen Beck and go watch Trump's full speech. Well, you did watch it, but the questioning. And man, I want to see you next time, but I want to thank all my subscribers. Thank you guys so much, and I much appreciate it. I'm going to get a members-only group going, so that way I make some videos for just you guys. And I hope that if you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed, go ahead and do so down below, and there's going to be a lot better videos coming out, and I greatly appreciate it, and thank you guys very much. And let's make the world great again. I want that to come out. I want to make the world great again. Thank you very much. Have a good night.